Okay, I'm seriously conflicted about this film. I'm. God. I honestly don't know what to think. I spent the better part of a day thinking of what I wanted to say about this movie, and I seriously cannot come with the words to express how unfulfilled I was seeing Kick Ass 2. Meaning, my definition of being unfulfilled is that when I saw the first one, I left feeling exhilarated. Like I've seen something worth seeing. What else do I feel like? I felt like that feeling where like your adrenaline's pumping and you're just feeling that your stomach feels a bit lighter. That kind of feeling where like you're so engrossed into a movie that it makes you feel like that. Very few films have done that for me, and that year 2010, Kick Ass did it for me. And from then on, I was a fan. I was a fan before even the movie came out. I read the comics before then. So you can see why I would express such I wouldn't say disdain, but that's a little harsh. But my disappointment rather. I'm recording this at this my anime set thing because it's 2 a.m. and I think I'm going to be yelling a little bit, and I don't want to wake up family here. Okay, so Kick-Ass 2 disappointment, but I can't say I was completely shocked by it. The like couple reasons why. One, the comic was really extreme. I'm going to go into major spoilers in the comic and the actual movie. So if you want to stay around and see what this is all about, feel free. Otherwise, big spoilers coming up. Okay. One, this well, both this one in particular deviates from the comic so much. It's understandable because the second comic, Kick-Ass 2, is really extreme, and extreme by like I was as I was reading it, it was just leaving me jaw dropped at how just balls to the wall insane it was. And doesn't seem like, I'm not talking about the good way. I'm talking about like how batshit insane and dark it got. Considering how the first one was, the comic anyway, it was dark, but it didn't get this grisly. Ugh. And considering how they adapted the first comic fairly well, in my ad, minus the ending, which I had no problem with. I knew about the ending thing, the writers of while they're doing the film, they didn't get, the final issue did not get released until much later after the film was released. So I understand why the ending had to this had to film off its own ending. But I think that was both a blessing and a curse because this film does abandons all continuity from, well, majority of it in of the second comic. One of which is the the origin of the motherfucker, which I personally was hyped to see adapted the way they were going to do it in a Hit Girl comic, and I was left utterly disappointed by the decision of leaving that entire bit out. And a bit that, mind you, would have been hilarious. Because if you haven't read the comic, oh, I already said spoilers, so what the fuck? So the big after his dad gets murdered in the first one, the first comic, Chris, well, in the comics, Jehovah's or something like that. I forget. But I would just call him Chris D'Amico just to make everything clear. Chris just goes to what was it, Tibet, and he trains with monks, and these monks like act like the Asian stereotype, like, oh, young grasshopper, you've done well, and they do that act, and at the same time, simultaneously drain him of his money, basically conning him. Why would you want to cut that out? That is priceless. That's funny. You see a rich kid pooling away his money at people he doesn't even know and let alone trusts. And these guys are like talking about going to Vegas with his wife. Like, look at, I want to drive a new BMW. I mean, that's funny. Not how the film handles it here, where he actually kills his mom, which is done for a dark laugh, but it's kind of not sure. Really, it's kind of it's really weird how the film actually handles that. It happens as a throwaway. It actually is a throwaway gag, and it really shouldn't have been, because considering the third comic is still going on, Chris's mom is becoming a more important character now, and I really wish they've seen it through until the third comic and have her character, the mother character, go to so much more than she was better off living, and she didn't deserve to die, in my opinion. Just strictly going off what's going on in the third comic. If you haven't read the third comic, go ahead and read it, because that is going to some directions that I never thought I would see or even think of. Now, another things that Kick-Ass 2 just does not work is the writer and director. And I knew about this beforehand, and I damn well feared it, and I was cautiously optimistic when I saw the trailer. So I braced myself for impact when I heard that the guy, Jeff Wadlow, I think his name is, but you might know him better as the director of Never Back Down and Cry Wolf. So, two relatively bad movies. Never Back Down being one of the most hated films I've ever seen, and one film that physically just fills me with such anger that I do not know how to describe. I won't do a review on it because it's not a something I would review from either of my shows, but it's something that I personally despise. It's one of the most despicable, if not one of the worst movies I've seen of that year, if I have ever seen, period. If I will do a little mock review of it, I would say it's complete trash. It's drama for the sake of being drama, and the morals are just as questionable. A bullying movie, an anti-bullying movie that thrives on bullying to prove its point about anti-bullying. So yeah, you have that guy directing Kick-Ass 2, a movie about vigilantism. So, and here's the best and worst part. The guy actually tried. Never Back Down was shallow material right from the get-go. Cry Wolf was something else. But Kick-Ass 2 is a desperate copy, if not try so desperately to become a carbon copy of the original that it loses everything the original was going for. Everything you saw in the original, all that style, all that flair, all that action, and that budget, I'll get to that later, but all that lost with that. Matthew Vaughn handpicked this guy, and I would have, if this was the guy they chose to pick, I would personally wait another year, maybe 2 years, to see Kick-Ass 2, just to see Matthew Vaughn back in the directing chair, in the producer and writing chair, to see this film come to life the way it was meant to be seen. And honest to God, this guy did an awful job. Shaky cam like this during fight scenes. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Abundance of CGI, which looked awful. CGI Bleh being one of my worst cinema sins of all time. Who the fuck you're talking to right now? But but the crude humor that was not witty at all. Some of the characters, I think, they actually got dumbed down a bit. If not, the characters were a little bit tarnished by this film. I'll get to that a little bit later, but right now I'm just trying to vent my thoughts on this, on the things that Kick-Ass 2 failed to do. Alright, so the direction, overall movie, the product, failed. It didn't do anything. It didn't have any really comedic high points. This movie really made me laugh, honestly. At some points, I was just actually surprised to see how violent it actually got when it actually got to it, because up until a certain point, that R rating for strong violence doesn't really show until very much later, at least by the 50-minute mark, which is too little too late. You see some beatings with batons and stuff like that from Kick-Ass, but nothing like the other next half of this movie. Where you know that trailer, you know that part in the trailer you see Mother Russia like blow up a car with a propane tank? Yeah, that entire scene alone is batshit insane. She puts a lawnmower on the back of a cop car, drives it back. The cops are like, "What the fuck?" And then the lawnmower, they crash. Lawnmower breaks through the windshield and like mows up on their face, blood splashing through the windshields. I'm like, "Holy shit!" And that was like the only part where I actually kind of exclaimed. It's like, and Kick-Ass 1 did a lot of that, where you see Hit Girl for the first time. She slices the guy's leg clean off. I'm like, but that's awesome. This one, I'm just like, that's just unpleasant. And 2, just that wouldn't have worked at all. And considering how Kick-Ass is sort of like quasi real life, I guess it works, but never mind that. I honestly think the director and writing was just flat this time around. It never stood a chance against what the first one had. It didn't light a fucking candle. The actors do a decent job. Christopher Mintz-Plasse did also a good job portraying the motherfucker. I like the motherfucker as a character, but I think he was in little too forgiving as a supervillain. In the comics, anyway, you see him ruthlessly tear down like people left and right. In this one, I'm not sure why he's not, even though he's telling other people to do so. I don't know, but you can sort of see it. But the only thing that I brought up in the first half is why he goes to Tibet to learn how to fight Kick-Ass, is that you get to learn there um, the genesis of the birth of the identity of the motherfucker. Here it just comes off as like, bam, that's all. He kills his mom and he's like, oh, boo-hoo. I find my mom's gimp suit. She threw away my red mist costume. Okay. I'll make do. And to be honest, the costume looked, rather from the get-go, I noticed that it was a gimp suit. It was like, yeah, everybody make that joke. But, from what I read, anyway, from reviews, they say that the costume by design is just to parody the supervillain look, or if not, just soften the blow of what the sadistic stuff he would be pulling off later. And costume or not, I think that his actions would have stood alone, or say a lot more than the costume would ever do. It's part of what, in my opinion, part of what I think about it, really. Another thing actually I should bring this up is Kick-Ass 2, for the most part, combines two comics into one movie, which is a recipe for disaster. There was a Kick-Ass 2, and after the comic ended, it said I forget, it's like end of book 3. I'm like, what the fuck? Did I miss a 2 in here somewhere? What the hell? So then they came out with a Hit Girl comic, which was like a prelude to the events of Kick-Ass 2. In between Kick-Ass and Kick-Ass 2, in which you find that Minnie McCready is going through high school. And that was his own separate little thing. And then you have Chris doing his Tibetan training, or so to speak. But here it's very rushed. The comic is barely at least 60 pages long, and explains a lot more than the Kick-Ass 2 delivers on. Kick-Ass 2 only delivered a fraction of what you saw, and if it did go all out as to why and how, it would be better for it. It would have been longer, but it would have been better for it. But again, I think this was just misguided direction entirely, thanks to writer and director, which I express negative feelings towards. It also doesn't help that this is his first R-rated movie, and considering his directorial resume. What else should I say? CGI god awful. There was a scene where the mean girls get their comeuppance and they puke and shit themselves, but the puke looks so phenomenally fake. You can tell. The budget, while I'm getting on the subject of CGI, was dropped significantly. One of the major things that in the Kick-Ass 2 comic was the big battle between the evil and supervillain. What the fuck am I talking about? The good guys and the supervillains, and they're fighting in Times Square. Doesn't even take place in Times Square. Takes place in a warehouse with a shark tank. Not even close. 2, or how the hell am I even gonna? What's my next non sequitur I haven't even come up with? Because I'm just filming this on the spot. If I were to say read the comics or see the movies, I say read the comics. Because read the comics first, then see the movie. Then you'll see how much they actually took out and how much hidden potential was lost in the making of this film. It's a sad shame. It's a damn shame that I had to feel the way about the movie as much as I did, because I honestly don't know whether or not I like this film or not. There are parts of it I do like the massacre scene with Mother Russia, the fight between Mother Russia and Hit Girl at the end. That was pretty cool. Um, the car chase scene with Mindy and Hit Girl. Mindy, Hit Girl, same person. What the fuck? What the hell am I talking about? It's fucking 2 a.m. But it's that van scene you see at the trailers. People were ragging about that being green screen, and yes, it's green screen, and you can obviously tell it is. But for what it is and what it's worth, considering the budget, it's one of the big action set pieces, if not the big fight at the warehouse. Um, yeah, that one's actually a couple things I did not expect out of that van shootout scene. As implausible as it is, it doesn't hold a candle to Hit Girl's shootout with in the library of bookcases, but it has to be something, I guess. You can just tell, but the feeling of just by the expression of my face and the way I'm speaking, that I'm honestly not happy with what I saw. As much as I want to be, I want to be happy. I want to say that I'm a proud supporter of Kick-Ass 2. But I cannot bring myself to say that. Unironically. There's just too much wrong. So much wrong. That Hit Girl, Mean Girls thing honestly didn't even need to be in the film. If it wanted to be its own film, Hit Girl could have had her own movie. I don't see anybody complaining for another Hit Girl movie. Hit Girl is by far probably the highlight of the first Kick-Ass. Hell, maybe it is the highlight. She is the highlight of Kick-Ass 2, more so than Kick-Ass himself. And I'm not objecting. Do you see anybody else objecting? Hit Girl is probably the most popular character in the Kick-Ass franchise. So, what's stopping you there? Also, in regards to her character and how she became, or she started to feel feelings towards Dave or Kick-Ass, I do not know how to think about that at all. I would say that it's very un-Hit Girl of her to start doing that, but at the same time, I kinda, in the context of the movie, even so, it's very un-Hit Girl-like, and it's something they seem to throw in last minute, just as, like, before credits roll, and, like, people like, what? Really? Okay. Me, no. This movie just did not capture the feeling of the first Kick-Ass. It never did. It wants to, but it doesn't. It seems I'm going to be repeating myself over and over, so I'm just going to talk about some of the cast. Jim Carrey is good. For at least his extended cameo role as Colonel Stars and Stripes, he is phenomenal. Marcus, Mindy's stepfather, he's not that great. He's just mediocre at best. Chloe Grace Moretz is another. I thought she was good. My friend thought different. Well, he's an acting, no, whatever. But he thought different. But I thought she was okay. I thought she was good. Considering how the script was juggling a whole bunch of emotions and all these type of different tones thrown at her, the light sophomore comedy of the Mean Girls parody, the hard hitting climax of the movie towards the end, which really shouldn't have felt as rushed as it is, but it happened anyway. And the very comedic tones of the first half of Kick-Ass 2. Considering how much the entire movie juggles those three, she came out on top better than the Kick-Ass did. And I thought he did also a decent job, even though the script really kind of called him to being kind of an asshole at times, which kind of took me out of the movie a bit. What else can I talk about? I'm trying to think. The comic, I already done that. The movie, climax. I guess I can talk about the climax. The climax is, a lot of people were just raving about that, saying it was like, it's great, it's amazingly choreographed. I couldn't tell, honestly. The few parts where they decided to do show stuff is very few and far between. Also, there's a lot going on in the background in that fight scene, so I could not barely tell you a fraction of what even happened. The only like 3 major like scenes you were following. Main 2 were Kick-Ass versus the Motherfucker, and Hit Girl versus Mother Russia, and then you have like the occasional Justice Forever team member kicking ass, and more so kicking more ass than Kick-Ass does, mind you, because the Motherfucker's just a big pussy, and he's running around all over the place and just begging to get hit, and in the end he's got his legs ripped, like torn off by a shark, which you wouldn't have known if you stayed before the end credits. But if you're feeling as just as unfulfilled as I have, then you probably wouldn't have stayed. I stayed because I heard it was going to be there. I heard there was a post-credit scene. I didn't know what it was, but it seemed to just paint that character of the Motherfucker is really pathetic, and to be honest, the comics do that exact same thing. I've totally blanked on him. John Leguizamo. He's great. Underrated actor. So bad. Oh my, I could just go on forever with this guy, but to keep it short, this guy is such an underrated actor. He's been shit on he's been shit on lately by the industry. Just like he's getting the parts that frankly are just kind of bit parts and everywhere. Like he was in Gamer, a movie which I tried to like it, but I couldn't. Now this one, he's probably one of my favorite parts of the movie, other than Hit Girl, because most of Motherfucker's chemistry comes off of him, and regarding his character, I'll get to that. One of my favorite scenes in the Kick-Ass 2, and if they kept that tone and kept that consistency with the character of the Motherfucker and the entire film as a whole, because the film tries to emulate the comic where it's bigger and better, and here it kind of falls on its face, unfortunately. But here's where I like that character. Ser Jorah from Game of Thrones is in this for a cameo, and I was shocked just to find out myself. I was actually like, he was a cold ass motherfucker. That character delivered one of the best scenes in the movie. Holy shit. Basically a rundown. Chris gets invited by his Uncle Ralph, which is played by Ser Jorah. I forget his name, but I'll just call him Ser Jorah because I'm so acquainted with him in Game of Thrones. he gets invited to prison to talk. And basically, what he does is like he wants him to lay low and don't get involved with Kick Ass because this is just gonna be really, really bad for him. Also, he's kind of an amateur. He's also kind of a whiny little douche. But that's aside the point. He's just telling him to stop. Now, he reveals that he's gonna be the mother. He called the motherfucker. And they laugh at his face. And he's like, you don't know real evil. Let me show you what real evil is. So he hands him his phone, calls up Javier, John Leguizamo, and he listens in on the phone call as he is stabbed in the throat and bleeds out. You can hear his dying croaks over the phone, and here you just see Chris D'Amico look at his uncle with such a stare of hatred. And that scene is just delivered such an moment of intensity that could not be topped in the entirety of the film. It was subtle, it was cold as fuck, and it was punctual and delivered everything it needed to do. If the entire movie was set like that, you'd probably get something more in the lines of the comic, which would have been dark as all fuck. They would have the rape of Kick-Ass's girlfriend in there, which was cut out of the film. The desecration of Colonel Stars and Stripes, which if you have seen Game of Thrones, or at least heard of the Red Wedding and what happens to what's his name, Rob, that happens to Colonel Stars and Stripes. I will leave that to your imagination or to your discretion and research. What else? What else happens? Oh yeah, the neighborhood scene where Mother Russia and the toxic mega cunts, the name of motherfuckers posse, they ravage a neighborhood. They just don't. In the movie, they kill cops. In the comic, they just mow down children playing like hopscotch in the front lawn, and to be like, I'm shooting kids with Uzis, and that's just cold. And then they just rape Kick-Ass's girlfriend in the same scene. Probably the most controversial scene in the comic. And one that guy had to be severely toned down for obvious reasons. And when I understand completely why they didn't want to do that. Speaking of which, of Kick-Ass's girlfriend, she is wasted in this film. The first film built her up as actually something of importance. Here, she just like dumps him immediately after a misunderstanding with Hit Girl, which is taken account of the writing and direction of Jeff Watlow. Fuck him. Seriously, this guy does not know shit. And just for his signature trademark, he brings in this Never Back Down again. References to Never Back Down. Which, this guy has some weird obsession with UFC. I mean, if you like it, that's fine. But this guy, like, he made a movie about it. Mixed martial arts, which pretty much glorified mixed UFC. And considering what I feel on Never Back Down, UFC has very little to do with it. I just don't like it personally because I never enjoyed wrestling. Or any kind of spectacle where two people are fighting in a cage. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like hand-to-hand combat, martial arts films just like any other guy, but I mean, I'd rather not just see two people just box or fight each other just for sport. And, well, the crowd is like acting like a group of Neanderthals, but that's my personal opinion. Don't have to take me on that, but that's just me. Really, they bring in, there's a cameo by Chuck Liddell. The only reason I remember his name is because I saw the clip before I saw the movie, and where Kick-Ass recruits one of his toxic mega cunt members, Black Death. And why they had to include Chuck Liddell is beyond me, other than just random, sporadic UFC references because of this guy because the guy directed Never Back Down. The guy only made like at least 3 films, and I'm already sick of his shit. Another thing is the Kick-Asses Hit Girls montage is completely sold short. It's rushed. It opens with like at least good 2 minutes of the montage, and the rest of it you can see in 5 minutes or less, maybe. I think I'm being a little bit generous. It's just not a good movie. Not at all. It doesn't hold a candle. I wish Matthew Vaughn got back into the directing chair and did what he did to the first movie to make that one great. I understand he's preoccupied with X-Men, with the X-Men series right now after the success of First Class, which is understandable. But once he's done with that, I would have waited. If I knew back when this film was announced that I wasn't going to get any Matthew Vaughn, a lesser script, a lesser director, I would have waited years, more so than this. 3 years for Kick-Ass 2? No. I'll wait 5 in order to see... Oh, shit, my sword fell. I'll wait 5 to see Vaughn go back and revisit Kick-Ass and do it again. Even with the budget restraints, I feel that he would have an eye to do it the way he would want to do it, even with the budget restraints. Even if he was budget restrained, the guy had balls. The first Kick-Ass movie, no one wanted to touch it with a 10-foot pole. He had to fund that shit himself until the studio picked it up from the indie circuit. That's commitment, and that shows you that the guy has a lot of heart and passion to what he's making. This guy is just a hack. I was about to give him a compliment about if this film actually turned out good and say this would be his first good film since ever, but it doesn't appear that way. All of his films are shit. Oh my god, I've been rambling on for 40 minutes. Jesus Christ. Anyway, Kick-Ass 2 sucked. Colossal disappointment. I'm utterly torn up about this film. There are aspects I do like that scene with Ser Jorah. Jim Carrey was good. Hit Girl was good considering. And that's about it. Mother Russia, yeah, she's good too. Why not? She was pretty fucking cool. Yeah. Me expressing my colossal disappointment for 40 minutes. I'll just put in gigantic annotation at the beginning of it just to let you guys know what you're going to get. Because honestly, I didn't think I'd be rambling on this long. I gotta go to fucking bed and get back to working on another. Anyway, this is the Gorehound signing out, and if there's gonna be a Kick-Ass 3, Matthew Vaughn better get involved. That's all I gotta say about that. Until Kick-Ass 3 coming whenever, if it ever does come out after this travesty, then I'll make another vlog about it. Until then, maybe I'll do another vlog as a retrospective on the comics when that's done. We'll see. Till then, see ya, and sorry for taking this long to do my criticisms on a movie. Okay?